Welcome to my Learn English YouTube channel. Before we begin today's session, make sure to subscribe to the channel for more valuable content like this.
All right, welcome back everybody to the deep dive. We're diving into something kind of different today.
Different how?
Well, we're going to be taking a look at accents.
Accents.
Specifically, how one person managed to learn 8 different English accents.
Oh, wow, that's impressive.
Yeah, and what's even more impressive is that we have the woman herself on video explaining how she did it.
Oh, a primary source. That's great.
It's a YouTube video by this woman named Janhavi.
I'm already intrigued. 8 accents. That's incredible.
Seriously. Like, have you ever tried to learn an accent?
I've dabbled a bit with a few European accents, but nothing too serious.
Yeah, even just one accent can be tough to really nail.
It really can. There's so much nuance to it. It's not just about pronunciation.
No, it's like the whole rhythm and intonation of the language, the little cultural quirks, everything.
Right. Like you can learn how to say all the sounds correctly, but if you don't have that musicality and the cultural context, it just sounds, well, off.
Exactly. And Janhavi's got 8. It's like she's got 8 different voices in her head.
She must have an incredible ear for language. There's actually a scientific term for this, being able to speak multiple languages or accents.
Oh, really? What is it?
It's called polyglottism.
Polyglottism, huh?
Yeah. It basically refers to the ability to speak multiple languages fluently.
Or even just accents within the same language, I'm guessing.
Exactly. Like with Janhavi, it really highlights just how adaptable the human brain is when it comes to language. But how did she even do it? How did she learn 8 different accents?
Well, the YouTube video gives us some pretty fascinating insights into her journey. She grew up in India, and apparently English fluency there was seen as a sign of high intelligence.
Interesting. So there was a lot of pressure to learn English well.
Yeah, it sounds like it. And in Janhavi's case, it seems like it really pushed her to go above and beyond. It wasn't just about speaking English, it was about speaking it perfectly in multiple ways.
Makes sense. Societal perceptions of language can have a huge impact on learning. It can be a motivator, a source of pressure, or even a barrier sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. And in Janhavi's case, it seems like it was a big motivator.
So how did that motivation manifest itself? What did she actually do to learn these accents?
Well, her dad seems to have played a pretty significant role in her journey.
Oh, like a language coach or something?
Not exactly. It was more about providing opportunities for practice. The video mentions that he used to take her to places like Red Fort and India Gate on Sundays, not just to see the sights, but specifically to interact with foreigners.
Wow, that's dedication. I mean, that's going the extra mile for language learning.
Yeah, and it was clearly effective. I mean, think about it. Being immersed in that kind of environment, surrounded by native English speakers from all over the world.
It's the perfect recipe for picking up different accents.
Absolutely. It's like a real-life language laboratory. It's not just about the textbooks and the grammar rules. It's about experiencing the language in its natural habitat.
It's that real-world application that solidifies learning.
Exactly. And for Janhavi, it seems like it was those interactions at the Red Fort in India Gate that really helped her tune her ear to the nuances of different accents.
And probably cultural nuances, too. I mean, accents aren't just about pronunciation, right? They're tied to regional expressions, cultural identities.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, think about it. A Southern American accent might conjure images of hospitality and slow living, while a New York accent might evoke a sense of fast-paced city life.
Exactly. So while the video doesn't explicitly mention it, I'd bet that through those conversations with tourists, Janhavi was not just learning to mimic sounds, but also getting a glimpse into different cultures.
Makes sense. It's like she was learning how to speak the language of different worlds.
That's a great way to put it. It's about understanding the soul of an accent, not just the mechanics.
I love that, the soul of an accent. And speaking of exposure to different accents, the video also talks about how Janhavi used to listen to a lot of BBC and CNN news.
Oh, interesting. That's a clever strategy. 2 very different accents right there, British and American.
Yeah, totally. And by listening to them regularly, she was basically training her brain to distinguish between those subtle variations in pronunciation and intonation.
Kind of like ear training for accents.
Exactly. It's like those learn a language in your sleep tapes. Although in Janhavi's case, she was very much awake and actively engaging with the language.
Right. Conscious effort and all.
Right. No subliminal messaging here, just good old-fashioned listening practice.
And a lot of it, apparently. It makes me wonder how much time she actually dedicated to this every day. It must have been a significant chunk of her routine.
Yeah, I'm sure it wasn't easy. It takes a lot of commitment to achieve that level of mastery. And speaking of commitment, the video also mentions that she used to watch YouTube videos to help her learn accents.
YouTube videos, huh? That's interesting. It makes you wonder what kind of videos she was watching.
Yeah, it does. Unfortunately, the video cuts off before she can elaborate on that. So we're left with a bit of a mystery.
A mystery, but maybe a clue too. It suggests that there's a wealth of resources out there beyond the traditional methods that can help with accent acquisition. You've got tutorials, movie clips, interviews, all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, that's a good point. It really highlights how accessible language learning has become in the digital age.
Exactly. I mean, you don't need to travel to a different country or hire an expensive tutor to learn an accent anymore. You've got the world at your fingertips. And John Javi's story is a testament to that.
Absolutely. So to wrap things up, it seems like John Javi's journey to mastering 8 English accents was fueled by a combination of factors.
Let's recap those factors, yeah.
Well, first, you've got the societal influences. In John Javi's case, the emphasis on English fluency in India clearly played a big role in her motivation to excel.
And then there's the parental support. Her dad's dedication to providing her with opportunities for real-life practice, like those trips to Red Fort and India Gate, that's huge.
Yeah, that's the kind of support that goes beyond just encouragement. It's about actively creating an environment for learning. And then, of course, you've got the immersion factor.
Right, the constant exposure to native speakers, both through those real-life interactions and through media like BBC and CNN News. It's about surrounding yourself with the language as much as possible.
And then, last but not least, the dedicated listening practice. Whether it was through news broadcasts or those mysterious YouTube videos, John Javi clearly put in the time to train her ear and fine-tune her pronunciation.
It's quite inspiring, isn't it? It shows that with the right combination of motivation, support, and effort, we can achieve pretty incredible things.
It really does. It makes you think about how we approach learning in general. What if we all tackled challenges with John Javi's level of curiosity and dedication?
That's a good question. What if we all saw language learning, or any kind of learning, not as a chore, but as an adventure, a chance to step into different worlds and expand our understanding of ourselves and the world around us? Something to think about.
I think that's a perfect note to end on. Food for thought for everyone.
Definitely. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive.
Always a pleasure.
See you next time.
See you next time.